Hi everybody, my name is Jen and I work for the EarlyON Center, and I've worked there for quite a long time now. And today I get to share with you some frontline stories of working with children. So like I said, I've worked with the EarlyON Center for a long time, like actually about 17 years if you can believe it. But I've been working with children for about 30 years of my life, which is hard to imagine because I am only 29. No. I have been working with kids though, really, for 30 years. I've got 3 biological kids of my own, and I've got 3 kids that I step parent as well. These 3 amazing step kids that I've got. So I've got a lot of life experiences. I've got a lot of professional experiences, and I've got a lot of insight that I've picked up along the way. And I have a story today that I'd really like to share with you. In my travels, I work in a lot of different areas across Haldimand-Norfolk, a lot of rural areas. I run programs where parents and their young children come and we gather together, and before the pandemic, we would sit down and have a snack together, and we would play at the Play-Doh table, we would be hanging out at the Lego table, we'd be sitting down in the infant area chatting, all of those wonderful things that I love so much about working with the families and the young kids that I work with. But here is a really great example of one of the pieces of information that I've picked up along the way. But before I begin, let me give you some context. I have been blessed and privileged to be able to travel around Ontario with an amazing co-worker named Barb Sutcliffe, and she and I get to put on something called Positive Discipline and Everyday Parenting, and it's this fantastic parenting group that we run and we facilitate for people like myself that work with kids across Ontario. And it's all about, well, it's based on 3 things, really. It's based on children's rights, it's based on research on children and violence prevention, and it's based on healthy child development. And this program I took originally in 2012. I read the book in about 2010, and then I took this course in 2012 to learn how to practice it with parents and to show parents how to do it. And when I took the course and read the book, it was one of those things that just totally blew my mind because it completely changed the relationship that I had with my own children. So I had that buy-in right away when it came to how to use this program, not only when working with kids, but when living with them as well. And I became a really big fan of the program itself. I use it all of the time, both when I'm parenting and when I'm working with kids. And here's a really great example of that. One program that I was working in, I was sitting at the Play-Doh table, and a Play-Doh table is a really great place to be able to talk to parents and to hang out with the kids and really get to know the kids, develop those relationships, and then help encourage connections between parents and their community when you're sitting there. I know it sounds like a lot, it's just Play-Doh, but actually there's a lot more to it. We were playing with Play-Doh one time, and I had these 2 boys sitting there with me, and they were both 3-year-old boys. Now I want you to think about child development and what child development tells you about 3-year-old boys. And 3-year-old boys can be quite aggressive. Just naturally, child development wise, that is actually a very appropriate and healthy thing to be. Maybe not necessarily like a welcome thing, but you know what? It's totally appropriate. So I was sitting at the Play-Doh table with these 2 3-year-old boys, and they are awesome boys. I'm just throwing that out there. I love the kids that I work with. And I'm hanging out with them, and they're playing with their Play-Doh, and they both have these dinosaurs, because who doesn't like dinosaurs? And they're playing in the Play-Doh with their dinosaurs, and they're making dinosaur footprints in the Play-Doh with their dinosaurs, and they're playing right beside each other, again, because this is pre-pandemic, so this is before we had to be socially distancing. So they're playing with each other, and soon their Play-Doh dinosaurs start hitting each other. Okay, well that's going to happen when you're playing in close quarters. Well, soon the dinosaurs start to violently hit each other, and they're starting to get more and more aggressive, and I can see in that moment that somebody could potentially get hurt if this were to continue on like that. Now, in my previous life of before taking positive discipline, I might have been one of those educators where I would have been like, okay, children, time to put our Play-Doh away. Or I would have been like, all right, that's it. We're taking the toys and we're putting the toys in time out, because I actually used to do that in my previous life a long time ago before I knew any better. And maybe as a parent, I might have done that a long time ago as well, or I would have separated them or asked them to find something else to do. But doing those things does not teach the kids anything except for I have all of the answers and I'm in control. And that's not what I want to teach kids. One of the things about positive discipline is that it really gets you to think about, what do you want your child to be in the next 20 years? And I want everybody that I work with to be good at problem solving when they get older. I don't want to provide them with the answers. I want them to think of the answers themselves. So these two boys were like fighting with their dinosaurs, and things were starting to get a little bit more aggressive than I was comfortable with. And I have a pretty good tolerance for this kind of stuff, let me say that. So I got to the point where I was like, oh wait, okay, everybody stop. Somebody is gonna get hurt. These dinosaurs are gonna get hurt. What can we do so that these dinosaurs don't get hurt? And that stops them in their tracks, because kids are empathetic by nature. It's inside of them. They care about how people and how things feel. They cared about how these dinosaurs were feeling in that moment, and I was able to really grab onto that and draw their attention to that. All right, right there is a lesson in and of itself of how to grow empathy in children, and using it as a tool like that is a really great way to do it. But it was their problem now. I was giving them the problem, getting them to see it from that perspective, and they had to come up with the answer. And what do you think they came up with? Let me show you a picture. This is a picture of a dinosaur with a Play-Doh helmet. That was the way that they problem solved. They didn't want their dinosaurs to get hurt, so of course, what do you do to not get hurt but put a helmet on? Right? That totally makes sense. I mean, maybe it doesn't make sense to the 46-year-old out there, or maybe it doesn't make sense to somebody who's been in childcare for a really long time and they don't see it that way. But to a 3-year-old, that totally made sense. Give the dinosaurs helmets. Now, did it stop them from smashing their dinosaurs together? No. It didn't. They smashed their dinosaurs together again. But then what happened when they smashed their dinosaurs? That's when I could jump in and go, oh my gosh, their helmets keep falling off. What do you think we're going to do? Because I was curious as to where their thought process was going to go. What else were they going to think of outside of the box to figure out how to keep their dinosaurs safe? And that was when they decided that maybe banging their dinosaurs together wasn't a good idea. Because A, the helmets wouldn't stay on, and the helmets were protecting their dinosaurs. I thought that was such a genius way of being able to get them to problem solve. What a wonderful world we would live in if we were all to teach the children in our lives how to problem solve, get them to come up with the idea themselves, and find that peaceful conflict resolution path to go down. What a marvelous world we would live in if we were to do that. I hope this served you guys well. I hope you learned something, and I can't wait to share more stories with you. Thanks so much, and have a great day.